Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted. What the fuck, man?
Luke, almost 2 years. Which part of the dress code don't you understand?
So I'm like not getting my girlfriend's Snapchats. Are you working on
something? What the fuck does that mean?
Coffee.
Welcome to episode 53 of the Topless Robot podcast. My name is Ryan.
Occasionally, I am Brooks.
I'm Dan.
I'm Tyler.
And it's been more than a week since the last episode.
I don't know what to do with myself.
I guess technically the first episode of our second year of doing the podcast.
Welcome to year 2.
I wish I had like a little hopper or something. I'm gonna whee or like a. We should have brought party hats. What are we doing? We're a
Dan
bunch
always has a
of
party hat.
unprofessional losers.
Yeah.
Every hat I wear is a party hat because my life is a party.
Said with such joy and passion.
A party of the society, which we are of.
So this week has seen some really good launches. The Genesis Mini, which I got.
Genesis!
Which is awesome. Though I hate the noise that it uses for like confirmation on stuff. It's this really grating, like kind of irritating noise. But aside from that, they seem to have gotten pretty much everything right. Also, actually, not aside from that, the sensitivity of the D-pad on when navigating the Genesis Mini menus is way too high. It is super easy to just jump several things. But their game selection is great. Games that I didn't get a lot of time with at the time, like when they came out, like Gunstar Heroes totally flew under the radar for me as a child. So
I've been playing Gunstar Heroes since I was a teenager. That was one of those
such
gems.
a good game.
There's a lot of Sega titles that fly under the radar because they got overshadowed by the Super Nintendo.
Well, I was a Genesis owner. I was a Sega kid,
But like, you weren't seeing ads for Genesis games all the time.
But the only ads that I do remember seeing as a kid, for as far as games on the Genesis Mini are concerned, was Eternal Champions.
I remember
used to
Eternal
see
Champions.
The Eternal
yeah.
Champions ads all.
There was that dude with
time.
the wraparound shades and the high top fade, and like when I was a little kid,
and there was like a lion dude or some shit.
Everyone I drew had a high top fade. 'Cause I thought I remember seeing Kid and Play and just giggling. Eternal Champions is no joke.
I have jumped into Gunstar Heroes. I've jumped into Sonic 1. I got the furthest in Shinobi 3.
What level did you get to?
2. Because I was just. When I say
You didn't get the furthest in. You got the furthest.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got
for you.
I got it on Friday, and Link's Awakening also came out. So I got it, plugged it in, played a little bit of a few games that I was interested in, and then started playing Link's Awakening.
That's fair.
The
furthest in. I got to level 2.
Well, yeah.
The boss in level 3 is probably the coolest one.
Shinobi is a great fucking series.
I got 2 words for you. Body weapon.
I prefer Shinobi on Game Gear.
Shinobi GG is pretty good.
And
as it's known.
One of the games that is on the Genesis that you two are going to have to play, even though I know you're ex-kids.
Wily Wars?
Wily Wars.
Oh, I played the shit out of Wily Wars.
Wily Wars is Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 released on Genesis. And it's fucking weird because those were NES games. And so you get a graphical overhaul on Genesis because it's technically a next generation system. And because it's using Sega's MIDI chip, it's all the same music that you reconize, but just a little bit different because it's got that grindy.
It's got to be chunkier, right?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have the additional content that is exclusive to the Wily Wars, which is Wily Tower. And you have 3 bosses that were based on concepts from the Chinese epic Journey to the West.
Oh, sure.
And
Everything in the world is based on Journey to the
yeah,
West.
but at that time we weren't getting too many games with that, and now we don't have to have a subscription.
Dragon Ball existed.
We don't have to have a subscription to the Sega Channel to play it anymore. So, yeah, Dragon Ball did, but like I feel like everything now is, if it has any kind of Chinese flair to it, there's someone with a staff and something about living forever.
Look, a monkey in a cloud. That's all you need.
A monkey in a cloud.
Is that all that Journey to the West is to you? A monkey in a cloud?
Yes.
It's far more complicated than that, but I shan't go into those details.
There's also the video game Enslaved. Do you guys remember Enslaved? I think it's a Bandai Namco game that came out. Has John DiMaggio voicing the main dude who is named Monkey. And you play a female character who is weaker, and she can like, I can't even remember it, but it's like dystopic future. Everything's overgrown, and it's almost like
I feel like I
Horizon
remember
Zero
Enslaved.
Dawn style, where like robots have kind of taken over, and but everything has gotten overgrown, and so you have to. It's like part stealth, part puzzle. Very interesting, but it is
Part
Enslaved
stealth.
Odyssey to the West, or something like that is the subtitle.
Part stealth, part puzzle, part kart racer.
But I remember it being a great
play it.
fucking game.
A stealth kart racing game. That would be something interesting.
That would actually be kind of cool.
Oh, we already have it. It's called Mario Kart. You get the Boo pickup.
It's true.
Yeah, but like you get a game over if you're detected being first.
Yeah, I think
Hide in a box at the finish line.
they did a really great job with the Genesis Mini.
I like how you have that all set out on the table, by the way. Your nice little presentation of miniatures.
Yeah, I've got the NES, the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, and the PlayStation, and I have the TurboGrafx 16 pre-ordered, which comes out in March of next year.
Now you can play such exciting titles as Bonk's Adventure and Airzone.
Bonk's Adventure
And-
and
Bonk's Adventure 2 and Airzonk.
What about Super Bonk?
Super Bonk.
I mean, honestly, Bonk's Adventure
Lords
was
of
a lot fun.
Thunder. You will be able to play Lords of Thunder, I think. I think that's going to be on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what all is going to be on it. I just remember I had one friend who had a TurboGrafx 16 when I was a kid, or PC Edged. That was it. Like, I got to play Bonk's Adventure on it once, and it was a lot of fun.
Technically the first 16-bit console.
Yep.
I knew 0 people with consoles that came out before the PlayStation 1 / N64 growing up.
The real question is it going to come with like a mock card to put in?
Yeah,
because
that's what made those really unique. Was
Yeah.
they basically had credit, like their games were basically on credit cards, or I guess what would be considered like, if anyone remembers the old smart media cards that cameras used to run off of, where it wasn't the big trans flash that was like kind of thick.
Yeah.
It was a thinner precursor to SD cards that had a maximum capacity of like 128 megs, and they were big. They were fairly big and had big contact areas for reading the memory on them, but they were flat, and it was basically. Those were slightly smaller than the TurboGrafx 16 cards.
And those credit card type things. That's where they got the idea for microtransactions, of course.
No.
No.
You tried. An effort was made.
It's actually interesting, though, because the cards that the TurboGrafx 16 used were developed by Hudson Soft, and that was a concept that was originally designed for the Famicom disk system.
Oh, was it?
But they decided to go with the floppy disk with the embossing on it instead. So they were like, well, let's go do this other thing. And they ended up partnering with, who's behind the TurboGrafx 16? That's not Compaq, but I feel like it's some now defunct computer company.
I thought it was Hudson.
Was it Hudson that made the TurboGrafx 16?
I'm pretty sure.
All I know is they made Bonk. And
Yeah.
I remember seeing an ad for it, and it was like a 2-page ad. I know, I think it might have been a 2, but of Sonic running away, like you seeing the outline of him with Bonk running at him, and he's just like, I'm out of here, and it's like, oh yes, Bonk is totally going to overthrow the Sonic the Hedgehog But I suppose, in 91 it was anyone's game. So
Yeah.
It was Hudson Soft, yes. That is correct.
Cool.
And marketed by NEC Home Electronics.
NEC,
Oh,
that's who
NEC,
it was.
yep.
That's who it was.
They did the marketing.
Marketing.
But yeah, I don't have tons of memories with TurboGrafx 16 exclusive properties, but it'll still be a fun, little console to add to the collection.
I remember seeing them around, like not when I was a kid when they were new, but I remember seeing them a lot around in like, you go to a game shop and it's just like, yeah, there's TurboGrafx 16. You're like, that'd be cool to play if it wasn't $400.
I've never seen one in person.
And it was the same kind of thing with Neo Geo.
Yep.
Like Neo Geo was Neo Geo was like $600 when it came out.
Yeah, it was pretty. But granted, it was also the closest that home consoles got to emulating the arcade experience. I mean, those cartridges were just the arcade boards in plastic. So.
Yeah, and those controllers with their switching, the switch system was just incredibly satisfying. Incredibly satisfying, and still a trend that they kept up on all of their systems. Like my Neo Geo Pocket Color has that clicky switch fucking delightfulness.
Oh, yeah.
And yes. That it is it is the satisfaction of a mechanical keyboard. It is that kind of just perfect satisfaction.
I do like the way you can just hear it and it's like, it sounds nice.
But yeah, and the controllers for the Genesis Mini feel exactly the way I remember them. And I think the cables are longer than...
Does it still have that very high quality Genesis D-pad?
It's
That's not like
it's mush.
Okay.
It's a little mush. But it feels fine. It feels like I remember it, but in retrospect, this feels fairly mush.
In retrospect,
Hey!
Oh yeah, that's right. That is good.
may I? When you're done.
Yes.
Because I've gotten so used to because they always had the swivel D-pad where you could hit the corners real well and stuff like
mushy.
that. I got so used to the just up, down, left, right, like where in order to get an angle, you're literally pushing down two buttons into
Up C,
a corner
down
as
C,
opposed
left C,
to
right C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A, B.
But that actually made the
Now we're in
Genesis
debug
controller
mode.
like pretty decent for playing fighting games that had any like Shoryu inputs or anything like that.
Because it's almost like an analog stick.
Yeah, you can roll it.
Because it's one flat thing. You're not ever pushing down like one button in a thing. It kind of rolls and yeah. I could see that being very, very useful for fighting, but it feels mushy. I feel like I have gotten spoiled by current stuff or gotten too used to current D-pads.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's almost like it's been many years since this technology came out.
Right.
Technology has progressed in the last 30 years. Oh my gosh.
The future is scary.
So I will be doing a full kind of video breakdown and review of the Genesis Mini. But one more thing I will say about it that they did fucking right versus Super Nintendo and even Sony. You don't have to get up and hit the goddamn system in order to get back to the fucking game menu.
That's good.
Yeah, that's stupid.
You just hold down start for a long time, and then it brings up the menu. You can save state from there, and you can go back to the game list from there.
That is the most annoying part of that Super Nintendo Mini, especially if I'm exploiting, the rewind feature. Like in Secret of Mana.
Nintendo probably was like,
shit.
Nintendo's probably, we've got these short ass little cords on these controllers anyway. They're close enough.
Yeah, they're expecting you're going to be sitting on the floor like you did when you were 10 years old, right in front of your TV.
And that ain't what we do no more.
I mean, that's all well and good, and I'll do that for a little bit until I get annoyed.
Nintendo's gonna make you relive your childhood whether you like it or not.
But 8-Bit Do has made wireless controllers for the SNES Mini and the NES Mini, and they have a wireless controller coming out for the Genesis Mini soon.
Good.
Excellent.
Very nice.
8-Bit Do continues to impress because, like, I got one of their controllers a few years ago as just a portable for when I was, taking it to work, and I had a really nice. It was a Bluetooth one, and that shit lasted for a while. I beat that thing to death.
Yeah.
And it would probably still work if the battery in it hadn't gone sour. So
Yeah, they're solid controllers. They're really solid controllers. They've got 2 of the Bluetooth Super Nintendo ones that work on PC, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, and they've been fine.
Xbox.
They are very nice. I have used yours on multiple occasions.
Yes, for Mega Man X6.
Which
And
is
Fire
out.
Yes, we started releasing Mega Dan Brooks.
The new season of Mega Dan
X6,
Brooks.
which was recorded probably 6 months ago.
It's been quite some time.
I don't know if it's 6 months ago.
It's a good thing all of the references that you guys make to pop culture are already outdated because
Yeah.
we can just keep on releasing those forever.
Yeah, exactly. We're fine. You see, like it.
The word is timeless,
Yeah,
Tyler,
as I was about to say, when you're so out of date, it's timeless.
which is why I come off as charming.
So this is actually a very intelligent marketing decision on all of our points. This is called evergreen content right here. It
is.
never is out of date.
Yeah.
Evergreen.
We can just keep talking.
Or just dub any political references and then update them in a couple of years. Political joke.
we just dub over all the political references with someone playing an accordion.
Badly.
Honestly, that would be a much more enjoyable than the current political state.
Yeah.
Or just it's the sound of somebody punching a raw chicken breast.
Link's Awakening came out on Friday. And
Is it woke?
it is delightful.
Link's disease.
God damn it. Save for one problem.
It's too good.
No, there's frame slowdown.
Oh yeah.
It has
It likes to
frame
chug.
loss. It chugs frequently.
I'm sensing a patch in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure.
By the way, this is something I wanted to ask about. Did they ever fix Bloodstain's problems on the Switch?
Not yet. They have Inti Creates has committed to it. Like they're like, this is our number one priority before. Or I think they also have DLC and things like that they have to deliver. But I have not seen any news on that being released yet. I check every once in a while because while I own it on Xbox, I would happily continue playing that on the Switch just so I can play fucking Bloodstained on the go because it's a great goddamn game.
Okay, cool.
Bloodstained on the go. It's like those tied to go pens.
Bloodstained to go.
No.
That's actually surprising to me, though, with the Link's Awakening. Nintendo doesn't have a lot of games that come out day one that have bad frame rate.
They're
issues
usually
like that.
really good about utilizing their own hardware.
They are, however, it came out at a time where we've got now 3 hardware versions for the Nintendo Switch out in the wild.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to bet that it was probably optimized and worked on with the minor improvements that live in the new iteration of the Nintendo Switch core hardware. And apparently maybe that might be the reason for this.
Well, that's not a smart decision, given the fact that the majority of people still have the default market Switch.
Yeah. And
Christmas is coming.
that's just me speculating on why we could see this lapse in behavior and quality from Nintendo.
But it
I
would
would
make
like to
sense.
say I would like to say that there's no way that they would do that, but I mean they've already done that once with the new Nintendo DS and games that were made for the new Nintendo DS worked a lot better on the new Nintendo DS than they worked on the old one.
None of those were Nintendo properties. The big one was
Smash.
Smash?
Smash did not work
did
as
Smash-
well
really?
on the load times on
Not
Smash
Nintendo
on,
developed. HAL Laboratories.
That is true.
Yeah, nerd.
That is
Everyone forgets that.
still
Second party.
it's still big Nintendo property and definitely
Nintendo
worked
developed.
a lot better on the new Nintendo DS
Not
than
a
the
flying
old,
toy.
the regular.
Also, the Dynasty Warriors, the the Legend of Zelda Dynasty Warriors.
Hyrule
Hyrule Warriors. That's
Warriors.
what it is, yeah.
How many straight Nintendo published properties have come out? I don't
know why we gotta bring-
DS because that wasn't very long. The new Nintendo DS release and then the Switch release the next year, didn't it?
No.
Was it 2 years?
No, it was at least 2 years.
At least.
Yeah.
Probably closer to 3, 2.5. Probably. I want to say.
Yeah, because the 3DS came out in 2012. 2012 or 2013. And then I remember I bought the...
Oh, wow. The new Nintendo DS came out in 2012. Jesus.
Yeah. I was going to say, like...
I'm sorry. My timelines are completely fucked up.
Because
Just like Zelda's.
they had a hardware revision. They had a hardware revision that went along with Kid Icarus.
That's right.
And Kid Icarus came out because Kid Icarus you either had to buy this big bulky fucking
dude,
circle pad
it
thing
was
for
dumb.
or use the eraser nub on newer hardware revisions of the 3DS.
Which
Yep,
is stupid.
And that's when that was its real hardware boost. So like the new models, or no, I guess new 3DS XL may have been a bit of a hardware boost as well. I can't remember.
Yeah, the new
But,
Nintendo 3DS
yeah.
was a big improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's weird. Time's moving too quickly.
Yep.
I'm sitting there like these last 5 years have been accordioned for me. I don't know why.
Well,
There's 5 years in between the new Nintendo 3DS and the Switch. I swung and missed there.
That's corporate America sucking the life out of you.
Hooray!
not to get deep on you or anything, but as you age, your perspective of time is going to change because to a 2-year-old, they are now twice the age they once were, whereas to a 37-year-old, it's
Every passing day is a shorter chunk of your life.
yeah.
Thank you for this little bit of existentialism.
Hey, dude, morbidity goes hand in hand with existence. I'm on the train. Where are you?
You know,
Dan, you were born on the train.
Yeah, I think so.
you know how fast time goes in like games like Bully?
Yeah.
That's just what you're gonna have to expect now, Tyler. That's just how fast time's gonna be now.
Can I do Skyrim and just like wait for like a
but you
year
can
and just
buy your
really
own bottle
fast,
rockets.
fast track that? Can I do that? Does that work yet?
We can just put you on enough hallucinogens that your perspective of time lenses and you'll be able to really stretch that out.
Or we can put you in a coma.
I'll get the mallet.
There's one in the guest
I'd rather not.
Is it like an oversized like Gallagher smash? Like, can I?
no, but it is a rubber-headed mallet.
Oh, I wanted to pop Tyler's head like a watermelon.
Pop.
I feel so loved.
What is love?
Why?
What is free
What
love?
the fuck was his name? Maximum?
Maximo?
Pop? What was his name?
Oh,
I can't remember.
I don't remember. My brain.
Every time you say pop, my head just goes straight to
pop, what?
It goes to white and nerdy. Pop, hope no one sees me getting freaky.
Wow. I remember when that album came out.
I do too. I was the kid in class that could sing that whole song, and it was a weirdly impressive thing. It was my claim to fame in like 11.
That sounds like a real lame claim to fame.
Yeah. We already have a rapper on the Topless Robot crew.
It's Dan.
Can't you tell?
I just haven't announced it yet.
No, now it's Kaylin.
Thanks for ruining the surprise, Brooks.
Rapping.
But back to the topic of the mini consoles for a second. I'm wondering if these companies have thought about doing reissues. They wouldn't necessarily be able to do mini consoles of them, but doing reissues of their handhelds in the same sort of form where they take, just kind of preload all of the popular games for those handhelds. Because have you tried to pick up a Game Gear in the past 10 years?
I have
Like
never
to play?
tried to pick up a Game Gear.
No.
Yeah, it's miserable.
That screen, it's literally difficult to look at. It's
all washed out.
It wears the eyes. Like, it's difficult to follow the action on the screen. And sure, emulation is a thing, but I think it would be cool for these companies to revisit their handhelds as well.
That's something that I kind of thought they were going to do after the Super Nintendo Mini came out. I was like, oh, so the next step will probably be like the Game Boy or the
It's
N64.
going to be N64. Yeah.
Which
I really want the N64.
So tired of the N64.
I am tired of
and all of the
Nintendo
people that just
64.
have endless nostalgia for it. and we'll play Mario Kart 64 until the day
best
they
Mario Kart
fucking
game.
die.
Let's be real. Games from that era were not pretty. They were the ugliest games so far because we jumped into 3D too early.
Yeah, and they did not age well.
No.
I'll still maintain that Mario 64 looks like dirt.
Mario 64 doesn't look good, but it's still a great playing game.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah,
still a
but
lot
it
of
looks
fun.
like
It
dirt.
looks like poop.
And it was extremely significant in its time, being the first full 3D.
Yeah, I've
like-
heard this from a million people, and I don't care.
That's why you play the Nintendo DS version of it, because
Yes,
it's
Because
fucking
it looks great. And you can play as Wario.
Yeah.
And you can play as Yoshi.
Yep. I want to go.
Where's
back.
Waluigi?
So what it is, when they finally next year when they raid Area 51, they're gonna find that they've have Waluigi's code for Smash in there all along.
Before we get to that Area 51 bullshit, one thing that I did notice on the Genesis Mini is in addition to the feet, like next to the feet, there are little square spots, almost as though they're planning some sort of upgrade that it would sit atop.
Oh, for
the Sega CD Mini?
I would buy the hell out of that. Although
Well, they wouldn't necessarily have to. What? So no, Vector Man was a 32X game. Because I was going to say it's already got Vector Man, but that wasn't Sega CD. That was 32X. Having Sonic CD would be kind of cool.
Sonic CD would be cool.
Let's get Sonic 3D Blast going, guys.
Snatcher would be fantastic.
You know they're never going to release that.
Well, yeah, because Konami's got to license it out.
But even still, there's Capcom and shit on there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's Konami on there. Castlevania Bloodlines is on that.
Yeah, but
it is.
fuck Konami.
Currently, Konami is a
Yeah.
dumpster fire of a company.
Pachinko!
Hey, you guys
Nepotism.
like little silver balls and Castlevania?
Do you
'Cause
like-
That's where you're going to get your Castlevania picks from now on.
Microtransactions rule.
To be fair, the Japanese do fucking love Pachinko.
To be fair,
They do.
Now, to the
Area 51.
intense failure that was the raid on Area
Do we get
51.
any footage of like nerds getting beaten with a nightstick? Because I would watch it.
no, they got threatened and they just wet themselves and fell on the ground
What happened?
and farted.
The Area 51 raid got split into 3 events, which were all festivals. The one
The
that
main one got canceled.
the
little
main one didn't get
alien.
canceled. The
Or
main
no,
one
it
was
got
in
moved
Vegas.
into Vegas. That's right.
The main one and we say the main one because it's the one that the guy who made the event endorsed and was involved with, was in Vegas. Whereas there were 2 other events that were near Area 51. One in a city that's got like a woman's name that I can't remember for the life of me.
Karen.
Sure. Cheryl.
Sharon.
It's in Cheryl, Nevada.
Sharona?
It's in Robin, Nevada. And that was apparently extremely lackluster and not highly attended.
Just like Dashi Con.
But what was important? So what's funny is the original creator of the event actually said, "Don't go to this event because it's going to be the fire festival of these events." Like that was his quote on it.
I like it that that's now a social metric for events. It's like the Titanic.
Yeah. The good thing to come out of this was the news reporter reporting on it while some kid Naruto dashed behind him.
Yeah, that was good. I saw that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I needed from this event.
There are also 2 kids that got arrested. They're from like the Netherlands, I think it was.
The Netherlands.
And they got arrested for trespassing near Area 51 and they're in jail.
I saw plenty of photos of maybe no more than 5 nerds at some ambiguous military gate with a bunch of people in camouflage looking at them like, what the fuck are you doing here, dork?
Get out of here,
about
nerd.
what that turned into. No, the signs were great. shit like slap them cheeks.
Yeah, yeah.
And stuff like that. Like fucking outstanding.
Surprise, an event was organized on the internet that could actually have real world implications for people's health didn't have a lot of people actually go.
Like, I think there was a total of 75 people involved. I think that was the number I got.
Genuinely, I'm surprised that anyone decided to take it seriously.
Well, it's like when you try to promote your band on Facebook, and then you have a bunch of people that say they're gonna go. Yep. I saw a meme like that, so I can't take credit for that.
2 million people RSVP'd is going. That means 20 people are going to your show, dude.
Yeah. And they're gonna leave halfway through your set, at least 10 of them.
And I'm sure there was just a disappointed soldier who was stationed on the 50 cal, just wishing. It's like, God,
test me, kid.
Like, I'm so tired of being here in the desert. I hope some nerds run through the gate right now.
The second I see the glint of their glasses.
The moment I see those arms go back, dude, I'm shooting.
I'm not counting headshots. I'm counting fedora shots.
Really, what I would have loved, and honestly, I would have loved this. Think Serious Sam.
Yeah.
I would have loved a sea of kids just doing that, and that would be.
Well, they were too busy watching Naruto to play Serious Sam.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about this whole thing is that the U.S. government probably had to have sanctioned meetings about the possibility of this happening. Just because they're not going to treat it like it's not going to happen. Because if they treat it like it's not going to happen and it did, that could have some major issues. So the U.S. government had to plan for eventualities.
There is a contingency plan.
Also, never mind the current social climate where nothing is off the table. Anytime you say something, no one's stupid enough to do that.
They'll do it.
They're gonna
fucking do it.
They're gonna fucking do it.
No one's stupid enough to.
No one's stupid enough to give Brooks $1 million, right?
Fools!
No, of course
No one is
not.
stupid enough to grant me my eternal happiness.
He is quite rich, you know.
Quite rich.
No one's stupid enough to stop
today.
thinking or talking to Dan so he could fade out of existence.
Waiting.
Ain't gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
Oh man. Well, I mean, maybe next year maybe next year they'll go for it. When they least suspect it.
Yeah, right. Haha. You fools.
Yeah, last year was just a misdirect.
Or right now there's like thousands of people hidden underneath fake bushes in the desert waiting. It's like Red Dawn but lamer.
They're all wearing like bush
Wolverines!
And then Patrick Swayze comes back from the dead.
Fucking desert.
Patrick Swayze comes back from the dead.
And harasses the fuck out of Demi Moore.
Yes.
So aside from that, I finally got to spend some time with Borderlands 3. And
I hear it has guns in it.
it does.
I hear that it is a Borderlands game.
I hear it has memes.
Yeah.
It is a
all
game.
Of the above. I think that it has aged beautifully. It's Borderlands. It's fucking great. The last night, so I bought it initially on PC when I got back from being in Illinois, and realized that we couldn't do like split screen or anything like that, and ended up buying it on Xbox One last night and playing it with my buddy Aaron, and we had a lot of fun, like a whole lot of fun. The character that I started out as on PC was the Hunter, and that's very cool.
Did you pick a meat thief? Is that the guy with the pets that the hunter is, or
Flack?
Flack? Yeah. Did you pick meat thief?
Meat thief?
You have pets as that guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Meat thief is like the cat that wears a fucking Cyclops like visor.
No.
And he holds like a little shotgun and walks at people and shoots them.
I
that's
can't
awesome.
remember the name of my pet. I went with the ant, the
With the drill arm? Yeah.
spider ant
Yeah.
thing. But last night I decided to change to the mech girl. There's a fucking okay, so the mech girl, first off, it's rad that everyone's skill tree path is like drastically different with regard to like the way that you interact with it. So with the mech girl, you've got 2 arms, so you get 2 weapons. The second that your skill tree opens up, you pick a weapon for each arm, and one of them on mine is grenade launcher, and one of them is a railgun. And
legit.
So
I see you went big. I can appreciate it.
the one of the upgrades that you can get is a gunner seat on your mech. So when you're playing with someone else and you activate your special, they can hop on your back and get a gunner seat and shoot people while you're grenading and railgunning.
That's fucking sick.
That is
That's
awesome.
rad.
It was the coolest shit ever. We had so much fun with that game.
My favorite thing that I've seen from Borderlands 3, I've been watching a little bit of stuff, is that the final boss, and I guess a few other bosses too, like there's like environmental damage that can happen, so like acid damage, and the final boss is
Spoilers.
like constantly spewing acid, but that environmental damage causes like a voice thing to go and he's like screaming. So he's like, I guess he's spewing acid and he's getting hit by the acid damage. So he's just constantly screaming the entire time you're fighting him.
That's funny.
I think they patched it to fix it, but he's just going
Oh, so in that, the acid that he's spewing is spreading all over the ground, and he's walking over it, so he's damaging himself over and over.
It's kind of like fighting Gray Fox in Metal Gear Solid. He just screams all the time.
Yep.
If you're not hitting him.
That was my favorite thing. It was a really funny video to watch.
Make me feel alive.
We got up to the boss that's called the Mouthpiece, which was a really fun battle because he's a propaganda dude for the Cult of the Vault, or the Twins, or whatever the fuck. And his whole thing is very music and visualizer themed. So like even the gun that he shoots at you is wavy as it comes at you. There's speakers lining the entire room that he like strikes a pose and they just blow out at you.
Cool.
And his shield is like an EQ visualizer. And it was just fucking great.
Hell yeah. Glad to hear it's good, even though Randy Pitchford can fuck off.
Yeah. The voice of Claptrap is not the voice of Claptrap.
Yep. That was partly because of Randy Pitchford, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
The's a whole
That's
thing.
what I heard. Yeah, I
There's
heard
a whole
Randy
thing.
Pitchford
It
was a
sucks.
dick
Blame
to him.
Randy.
Because he was originally going to come back, and then him and the voice and Randy had a big tiff, and then
Randy should just do music, or not music, magic tricks.
Yeah. His little sleight of hand game. Yeah.
Because his Twitter handle is Duval Magic, because he's obsessed with magic. And Chris Hardwick is in it, which
really?
I'm not sure how we feel about him anymore.
Which one is Chris Hardwick?
Chris Hardwick was the Nerdist, and he was, well, most people will know him as the host of MTV's Singled Out in the 90s with Jenny McCarthy.
What?
Nope. No idea.
And then he started writing for Wired. He's
okay,
one part
okay.
of Hard and Firm, because it's Chris Hardwick and Mike Furman.
Yeah.
And they do comedy country songs. And he started the Nerdist Network, which then ended up getting bought, I think, by ZDNet, like the Ziff Davis network, but I can't remember if that's accurate. And
The Turdist.
but he built a podcast network out of that because he was podcasting. You know, the Nerdist podcast, it would be him and Jonah Ray and Matt Myra sitting and talking with some celebrity, every week.
What? Are you laughing at that offhanded joke?
I very quietly just hear the Turdist.
I didn't even hear that. Was that a joke for you, Brooks? You didn't even say it. You just you're like, just gonna keep
I
this
like
one
to
for me.
occasionally say something low and soft to see if our listeners pick up on it.
The
The Turdist.
So a few months ago, I think, or it was a while ago, I guess. His ex-girlfriend, who is also a notable person in the gaming community and the nerd community, came out with allegations of sexual abuse and things like that. His show, The Talking Dead on AMC, where they talk about The Walking Dead.
I hate that show, and I hate that after show.
Got put on hold. All of his panels that he was hosting at Comic-Con replaced him, while AMC did an investigation into the allegations.
Yeah.
He's still doing The Talking Dead, so
he's still at
presumably they
large.
came up clean. The Nerdist website removed all references to Chris Hardwick from it as having been the founder and things like that. So I don't know where that was left. I don't know, what the result of that was. If we're cool with Chris Hardwick now, or if it's,
Who the fuck knows?
I didn't really care about it in the first place, so I'm going to continue to remain ambivalent until I hear otherwise. I mean, unless he did some obviously bad shit. This is my first time really talking about it, so.
No, following celebrity news and shitting on people who suck is responsible and all, but God, man, so much of this shit happens that I don't even know how much of a fuck I can give anymore.
Stop being dumb on the internet.
And like, don't get me wrong, I am not a fan of cancel culture, but I think that there's a certain amount of holding people in these positions of influence accountable for their actions.
Yeah, I think there's like a moderate balance to be found between the two for sure. Like, people need to be held accountable, but we need to be careful about when we pull the trigger.
Yeah, like
we need to be careful about when we pull the trigger, and we need to figure out if we're okay with ending a career over it. Because realistically, with some of these people, when those kind of allegations arise, they just can't do the thing that they've been doing for probably, in some cases, 30 years or more.
Yeah, their whole lives, and it's something to consider. Not, there are some crimes that are pretty egregious, rape and violent crime particularly, and I've noticed that, because there's like allegations about someone coming out like every week it seems like these days, and it's great that people are being heard as far as like, they don't have to hide the fact that something bad happened to them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think that it would not be prudent to immediately, I read the headline, now that person is gone. You should look into things, question things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, is this possible that this happened? And like, yeah, of course I'm going to side with the victims in these cases until they prove it otherwise, but haven't. But destroying somebody over a mistake they made.
Yeah.
That,
For example, I think I am perfectly okay if Harvey Weinstein never makes another penny for as long as he lives and dies early.
I wish he'd trip and fall into a meat grinder.
On the other hand, Aziz Ansari, who he had his own issues, but it was just in his mind, it was a date that didn't go the way that he wanted, and he thought he was respectful and backed off and left. But from the other side of the table, it felt more like he was power tripping.
Yeah.
But it, like, if the whole story is definitely of a tale of two stories there, and he was thrown so hard under the bus for quite a while. And yes, he was wrong, but it wasn't, I would argue, not something that fortunately his career didn't end, but it
wasn't coming from a place of entitlement or malice.
Exactly. It was coming from
Harvey
a place
Weinstein
of being stupid.
knew exactly what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, that guy's an evil motherfucker.
He was actively using his position to get what he wanted out of people with the promise of careers. And that's fucking disgusting.
Yes.
I know full well that I have misread people and probably pushed boundaries that people didn't want pushed because I misunderstood the situation or I misread the situation. I know that I've made people uncomfortable because I think that it's a matter of when you get to the point where you stop making people uncomfortable as often. Because I think we've all, save for Dan, made people uncomfortable in our finding our sexual selves because we don't understand that language yet, and we're learning that language and we're growing into that.
It's not like they hand out manuals that have perfect instructions.
Yeah, I'm the person who gets made uncomfortable by other people finding that.
But I feel like and maybe this is ableist of me. I feel like there should be a cutoff for, expectation. Like, at a certain point, you should kind of have some sort of social, intellect.
There's a social gradient that's most people, functioning adults, should be able to pick up on.
If you participate, you have to play ball. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I've been made uncomfortable by people that were interested in me and things like that. And,
as have I.
And it's a part of becoming an adult. And when that goes to a further place, like, the Weinstein thing is a great example of just the kind of bad thing. We should definitely cancel. I hate that word now. Cancel.
Yeah.
Cancel that guy's career. But at the same time, one person who has been doing something all of their lives, they're an entertainer. That's their job. They don't know how to do anything else. But before that, they're flipping burgers at McDonald's. I feel like instead of being quick to jump on a bandwagon, because it's very easy to do that, like, I heard this thing about this person that I kind of already didn't like.
Yeah.
Fuck that person.
An angry mob form on the internet so easy because it requires even less effort than going out into the streets and grabbing your pitchforks. Like, you can just open your phone and go like, oh, this person? Fuck them. Cool.
Yeah.
How many millions of tweets can I get?
Yeah, done. It's like what happened with Garrison Killer and Prairie Home. Because some allegations came out that were, at the time, they weren't even confirmed. They just came out.
Yeah.
The next day, NPR removed his entire archive.
Yep.
He was gone.
And when I was back home visiting, friends and stuff like that, and out for the wedding, and I got to visit my gram, and Garrison Keillor and Al Franken came up in the conversation because we were talking politics and talking about that stuff. Because I am not afraid to talk about politics with my family because my family isn't garbage. Al Franken is another case where we shouldn't have lost him. The Democrats decided to use him as an example of them not being beyond their own moral standards, where they were not solely trying to hold Republicans' feet to the fire and holding them accountable for these kind of things. But to be clear, and this, if I recall correctly, these were happening at the same time. Al Franken is not Roy Moore. Al Franken and take this for what you will, but what's his face, who used to be married to Roseanne Barr?
Tom Arnold?
Tom Arnold. Said that the entire thing was a carefully calculated hit piece in order to take down Al Franken, because he knew some of the people who were involved. And I mean, the thing with the Al Franken thing was like he made a joke in poor taste on a USO tour with photos.
And what he did was definitely wrong, but it wasn't.
It wasn't lose your sentence.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it was
also, to quote Gilbert and Sullivan, let the punishment fit the crime.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that worries me most about cancel culture. And I fully believe that if someone does those greater offenses, like obviously rape, sexual assault, doing anything physical or emotionally, like deliberately emotionally harming in any way, like, yeah, fuck those people. Absolutely. do whatever you got to do. But what isn't often considered is when someone's just ill-informed or like consequently insensitive, that doesn't mean that you have to ruin everything they've ever done. And to the point, in what way are you encouraging them to improve their way of thinking by taking their life away?
Yeah, by
Like,
shutting them out completely.
If saying
Ultimately,
that one thing
the
is
goal should be changing hearts and minds.
yeah,
right.
And if saying that one thing, that insensitive thing, just ends their career forever because they're ill-informed or just didn't know, then they're never going to feel good about it because that becomes the cornerstone of what ruined their life.
Yeah.
So they're going to hate it forever. It's not going to encourage them to change.
They're going to hate it, and they're going to hate the people that did that to them.
It's just because the internet mobs are inherently malicious. Like that's the problem. The moment one forms, it's not about improving people. It's about being out for blood. And that's a fucking problem.
And that's because, the internet and Twitter especially is a place for the loudest voices to be heard.
Yep.
And the loudest voices are always the most extreme voices.
Twitter is a toxic waste dump.
I think part of the issue too, though, is more than just the Twitter mobs and the internet coming up in arms. It's that there are people who have power to make the decisions over these people that made questionable decisions that are listening to those internet mobs and giving power to those internet mobs and giving power to Twitter to basically end their career because they're listening to the loud vocal majority
and they're afraid of the bad PR. So the moment it's like, oh, mildly inconvenient, I might be losing $10 right now.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
Done.
And that's what it comes down to is honestly, Twitter, if any of the people who are loudest, if it's as many people and whatever, Twitter's a great way for that information to spread and that information to very quickly become misinformation.
Telephone. It's a game of telephone.
We're just playing telephone with everyone on the planet.
And when you see, so many thousand people being vocal in, let's say, we're talking about in an industry of sales, right? Just hypothetically, people are so unwilling to, share their opinion about this or that or that. So when a company, where the sentiment of the populace affects their bottom line, when they see thousands upon thousands of people railing out about something, that is, while it may not technically directly translate to affecting their bottom line, it is a larger number than they probably saw affect their bottom line before Twitter was a thing.
Oh, absolutely.
That's true.
So, all it would take is 10 vocal people with platforms to share a salty opinion about a product to negatively impact that product.
Yeah, dude, are you kidding me? Like
company.
The amount of damage that a single 1-star review can do to something. A single 1-star review.
Yeah, and the fact that there is no consequence for people that are being dishonest about these kind of things.
Yeah, more's the point. Just because you've bought something or participated in something doesn't mean you're qualified to review it. You might have no fucking clue what you're doing.
Yep.
I think we're all qualified, though, to review fast food we eat in our car, at least.
Yeah.
I think that one dude absolutely has, or actually two dudes.
He might be over
corner on the market. Review Bra and the Five Guys review dude. Damn.
The guy from Snack Taco is also pretty good.
Oh, I have not seen. But Review Bra is the sweetheart of the internet.
Yeah, he's great. He's like I'll be honest. I first started watching him. I don't watch him very often, but I first started watching him because I was just like, "Who's this dork?" I'm going to laugh, and then I watched it and I was just like, I don't know, I can't laugh at this guy anymore. Like
my buddy Nebo showed me his videos at first, and the first video I saw was him reviewing Pizza Hut's heart-shaped pizza, and I was just like, Is this an act?
Yeah, I thought I was like, this is a perfectly crafted troll right here.
Yeah,
because like the suits are all perfectly too big.
Is it not an act?
No.
Guys, genuine.
When even when I still watch his videos, like I still think he's a shit poster.
Were you
I
this
still
years
think-
old when you learned this thing?
I mean, like
I still have
today
a shadow
years
of
old.
doubt in my brain
There's-
that
there's-
he is a shit poster.
there's no way to know. Like you just open the video and listen to him, and like it could just be a really subtle gig that he's pulling off. Like I still am like, unless he's just come out and said like, no, I'm genuinely doing this, then okay, yeah, I'm wrong. But it just,
if it is, it's a hell of an act.
he seems like a shit poster.
That was my first thought as well, but I have seen enough to, and especially,
I mean, he fucking reviewed like jugs of water once. Like he just reviewed like the quality of filtered water. He's got to be a shit poster.
yep. I feel hydrated. The flavor could use a little work, but
Ooh, Arrowhead.
so there was apparently a thing a while back where there were some things that suggested that he was a paranoid schizophrenic. Because there was a video where he said that he had to relocate many times because a van was following him. And he said, if you watch this video, you can see what I'm talking about. And he watched the video, and granted, you can't see like out the window or anything, but there's a car that pulls up next to him because he's in a fucking parking lot. There's nothing that like where he said, watch this thing as though it was something that would be obvious to pick up. It was
Just a car
absolutely
pulled
not
up.
obvious to pick up.
Well, it'd be, I'd be pretty rattled, because I also read that he was having some issues with people online in general.
He was having issues with 4chan.
Yeah.
And
Surprise, surprise.
Wait, people having issues with 4chan? What?
toxic waste dump of the internet.
people noticed that he had bedding in his backseat because he was living in his car because he didn't want the 4chan stuff. There was suggestions that people were stalking. Someone on 4chan was stalking him and posted his exact schedule. And like he does this at this time and this at this time and this at this time and posting pictures of his house and shit like that.
Why?
And
Break
People
these people's
suck.
hands, dude.
Yeah, for real. Let's get some ball peen hammers and go.
because he didn't want it to negatively impact his family, he lived in his car.
Yeah.
So somebody was following him. He was right.
Right, yeah, but not necessarily. It's maybe
well,
not.
I mean, it's also hard to determine what is a genuine threat and what is not.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't play like that.
Yeah, it's much safer to assume it is a genuine threat instead of playing with fire.
Yeah.
And now we're back at Area 51.
No, the 8chan genuine threat. Genuine threat. 4chan not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Hard to tell sometimes.
Didn't 8chan
especially
get
in the
dehosted
moment.
recently?
Especially
Or
in the
something like
moment.
that? Yeah, 8chan got dehosted.
Because of El Paso.
yeah.
Yeah.
speaking of that, there's a movie coming out.
Already?
No, not for El Paso.
Okay, I was going to say, Jesus, fuck me.
There's a movie coming out, a scary movie that I saw the trailer for, and this might actually do the trick. This might actually creep me out.
Okay.
It's called Cuck.
Oh, I heard about this.
Really?
I heard about this.
Yep.
Big yikes.
Yeah.
Big yikes. And it is the story. It is a story of a guy on the internet who feels disenfranchised and eventually becomes
An incel.
a killer.
Wow.
An incel.
The trailer is out.
We'll have to watch
check
that
that
after
out.
the
Yeah,
podcast.
it's-
Topless Robot watches.
Unfortunately, that is very culturally relevant.
Yup.
Yeah, and it's something that we have to
bit
worry
on the
about
nose.
now.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gotta worry about people who sit in their dungeons all day doing literally nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, people regularly accuse liberal left, folks or progressives as being in their echo chambers. Man, at least sitting in my echo chamber, I am not encouraged to go out and kill people.
Yeah.
Let's go outside.
I'm happy surrounding myself with what I perceive and feel as positivity and support of people who need it, and support of humanity, and things like that. I, as frustrated as I get with anyone of opposing views of varying degrees of extreme, I don't want to go out and shoot any of them.
Yeah,
That's why I hate reading. Like, even I still do see that kind of idealism, though, even in like subreddits and stuff about our
Reddit's
president
also a
and
fucking
everything.
dumpster fire.
Yep.
That's true. It's just like, I feel like I'd like to think intelligent and are good at surrounding ourselves, like you said, with positivity, but not everyone has those kind of, like, there's going to be those kind of extremist echo chambers where that still exists.
People who disagree with you are not unintelligent.
Tyler, how high is your IQ?
That's not what I meant. I meant like we've surrounded ourselves with.
Even he means we surrounded ourselves with people who, even though they disagree, won't chimp out at us.
Exactly.
Sure.
Like people who
That's
can
what I
have civil discussions about things.
Yeah.
Because there's people that have the same ideals that we have, but they surround themselves with people that are going to do that and are legitimately for assassinating the president, for instance, and different stuff like that. Like, I feel like it's not the idealism that leads to that kind of echo chamber. It's the kind of people that lead to that kind of echo chamber.
Yeah. I mean, I can agree with that. Was there anything else that we had to talk about? What games have you guys been playing? It's been over a week since we fucking hung out.
I haven't played any games this week.
I played Daemon X Machina. I did play Daemon X Machina. All of the demo. I'm gonna buy it.
Wait,
Oh, so you haven't gotten the full game yet?
I haven't bought the full game yet. No.
Okay.
But I played. The demo was long. It was like 15 missions, and it's fun. It's a mech game. It's a mech game with anime aesthetic. So if you like mech games and aren't offended by anime aesthetics,
So
it's a game. It's a game that you will enjoy. If you do not like mech games, you will absolutely hate this game because it is a pure mech game with a little bit more fun. Like, the moving around is a little bit more fluid. I really do. I'm a big fan of fun movement systems, and it feels good. Like, it feels fun to run around and stuff. So I really like it. I'm going to buy the game.
for it to be a good mech game, it needs to feel chonky, but not so chonky as to feel like you're a slow tank. You need to be a big, heavy, deftly maneuvering tank. You need to feel the
This
weight
one's
of that
more
tank,
of a jetty. Like, you're flying around, shooting and like zipping around, able to stop on a dime, turn, and jetting across the ground kind of mech game. It's more like a Gundam mech game, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But the big sluggish stuff has its moments because
does.
I think
Mech Warrior and Armored Core.
and in mech games where you have
back to Mech Warrior, man.
where you have the options to build different mechs. That's cool if you want to build like a zippy one that has machine guns and light weaponry. But my preferred method of like every game I play, it's find the biggest stick and smash things. So that's what I'm going to do. So if I'm in a mech game, I'm going to build the biggest mech I can and put as many fucking cannons or railguns on it. And even if I can only rotate at like a speed of 5 degrees per second, I'm going to find someone.
I haven't gotten enough farther in to where I do believe you are able to customize your shit a little bit more. Right now, I've just been getting the basic weapons and stuff, but
Right on.
it's fun. I enjoyed it. A lot of people hate it on the internet, but I was looking around.
A lot of
and
people
seeing
hate
what-
everything on the internet.
Yep.
But all of the complaints that I have read on the internet are literally just complaints that everybody has with every mech game ever.
Yeah,
Sure.
And if you don't like those things, then don't buy mech games. You fucking dingus.
Exactly.
If you like robots but don't like mech games, just
Play Virtual On.
Yeah, I was gonna
I mean, there are plenty of mech games that aren't mech games.
Yeah, just this game features robots.
Yeah.
I will say
Or
the
like
story
Zone
is
of the
pretty
Enders.
chintzy.
Go play Zone of the Enders.
Yeah, absolutely. Zone of the Enders is a great
Yeah.
example, which has a VR version. That's fucking rad.
Ah, I didn't
Because
know
your
that.
cockpit is literally the robot's Jehuti's cock. Did you ever realize that the cockpit for the Jehuti is that little proboscis that kind of sticks out betwixt the robotic legs?
No, I haven't thought of that. in a long time.
So that's your point of view in this robot is that little Kirby bit.
So it is an actual cockpit.
Yeah, truly is.
Very nice.
How about you, Ding?
Dude, I was too busy to fucking play video games. I don't know who I am.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was super weird. I had something to do pretty much every day, like go to a show on Wednesday and stuff like that. So I touched a little bit on some Fire Emblem. That's it though, man. Again, I'm losing my way. I don't know who I am. I didn't play like 20 hours of video games this week.
I played 5 minutes of Hang On at the Grid on Wednesday in between sets.
I fucking hate that game.
I like that game. I'm not great at it, which is why I like it. But I like it. I mean, it's my sworn enemy.
I mean, yeah, I think the thing I played most this week was Rock Band.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. But hey, I'm not complaining. Rock Band's fucking sick.
That was a lot of fun.
It is a game.
It's what we do every single Monday night there at the Grid. That's why it's called Rock Band Monday.
At the Grid, Rock Band.
Well, we have come to the end of the podcast.
Say it is not so.
I will not.
Say it ain't so. Whoa,
We will
whoa.
be-
Man, I tried to say it is not so, and you guys still fucking.
Hey,
We-
you talked about Rock Band.
We will be back with a guest next week.
Ooh, who is our guest?
New friend.
The famous from such movies as Not Another Teen Movie,
We got Paul.
and from shows such as Will and Grace and Beat the Geeks, Mr. Paul Goebel
Yay!
is
I
going
love
to be
Paul.
joining us.
I don't know who that is.
Paul is cool.
It's cool, dude.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Hosted our trivia at the Grid, now hosts our Jackbox game nights.
He's awesome.
Oh, neat.
And none of what I said leading into that introduction is false.
It's all true.
He is legitimately in all of those things.
He's got an IMDb
he was the TV
profile.
geek on that short-lived show, Beat the Geeks.
I miss that show. Like it sounds like all of those things that you listed off were things that I missed out in the pop culture apocalypse that was my life.
Yeah.
So, but that's my new segment, pop culture apocalypse.
Popcopolis.
So yeah, as long as everything goes as planned, he will be our guest next week.
Fantastic.
But yeah, thank you for watching and or listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
I'll see you later.
I'm taking off today at 3. Sometimes you have to sit if you want to make a stand. Paint the shit, taking liberties. Taking liberties.
Luke, it says I'm locked out of my account again. Subscribe.